ready to go. Live from New York, it's Wearable Electronics with Becky Stern.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the first show of Wearable Electronics of 2016. With me is my host, Thomas from Jess Califano, Director of Community Support and Publishing here at Adafruit. We're having a good time.
Woo! Happy 2016, everybody!
We're here to talk about some wearable electronics. And Jess, what's on today's show?
Today's show, let's see. So we're going to talk about some Wearable Wednesday posts from the blog.
And we're going to debut a new project.
Mm-hmm. We have Component of the Week.
It's used in this week's project.
Yes. Tools we love.
It's a very helpful hand-lending tool.
And we'll answer some of your questions and give away a Flora.
If you have any questions about wearable electronics, you can post them up now in the chat or later on any of our YouTube videos or on the forums or Google Plus page or Twitter and all that places, and we'll gather them up and answer them on a future show, making you eligible to win the show's giveaway.
All right, what's the code this week, Becky?
The code this week is wireless. Just like the Daft Punk helmet Jess was wearing. It's controlled wirelessly. It's good for 10% off everything in the Adafruit shop except gift certificates and software, valid all the way through 11:59 p.m. tonight.
All right, let's talk about hashtag Wearable Wednesday.
Jess has had enough time to remove her helmet and fix her hair. If you were watching us on Periscope, you could have watched that transition take place. This came in the mail just today after we made today's show, so there's no "What are you wearing" segment. But if you want to learn how to make your own Daft Punk helmet, Noe and Pedro created this for a 3D Thursday project, and you can find the tutorial on the Adafruit learning system. Cool. It's controlled with Bluetooth, and it's got NeoPixel rings on the. It's awesome. 3D printing.
Very cool.
Yeah. Thanks, guys, for making us look so cool during our intro.
Yeah.
Okay, right into Wearable Wednesday. This is where we cover customer projects and more on the Adafruit blog. We have a little bit of catching up to do because we didn't have a show last week for holiday break, and we wanted to recap some of the holiday projects that came our way. So first up, this is a holiday sweater by some folks from Fizz Pop, which is a makerspace in the UK. They partnered with an electronics shop over there called Maplin to make this very charming holiday sweater with a
reindeer
fireplace.
Sweater, yeah.
It looks like Santa and his reindeer are coming in through the fireplace on the sweater.
It's very fun.
I want to see a doctor about it.
There's a reindeer.
Reindeer coming out of your abdomen. Very nice job, guys.
Yeah.
Moving right along, another sort of holiday-esque, although created for the Australian Burning Man-esque festival, Burning Seed, is this very charming LED hat. Totally amazing. Uses the ESP8266 wireless module, and
really cool project.
Nice job. Excuse me, sir. I see you have a few LEDs on your hat.
All right, another cool LED hat. This one's a cowboy hat.
Yep, cowboy hat by Rob Trams on YouTube. Uses a Flora and some code he wrote to light up those NeoPixel LEDs.
Nice.
Charming and amazing. Nice work.
Yeehaw. All right. There's another hat.
Leslie posted, try to put them in some kind of, right? So
like
we have a story arc, so to speak. Leslie posted up this sound navigation top hat made by some Cornell students. So it's sort of an accessibility project where it uses, kind of like the Flora Neo Geo Watch, where it navigates you to an endpoint, but instead of using light, it's using stereo sound. So it's changing the sound that's coming out of each ear to sort of draw you towards a destination.
That's
really
awesome.
Useful for could be useful for motorcycle helmets or people with vision issues. All kinds of cool applications for that. Very sophisticated coding going on in there. Nice job.
This one was a customer wrote in to tell us about this one. It's called Climate, and it's it tracks how high you climb at your local rock climbing gym, or if you're actually rock climbing outside, which is really cool. I haven't seen a project like this before.
No, it's really neat. So it's kind of like, how Fitbits have an altitude, but it's usually timed with your steps, so it'll say you climbed this many stairs. Right. But this is for how the elevation you climbed, and it uses an Adafruit barometric pressure sensor, a Pro Trinket, and then an OLED display. And the case, it looks 3D printed to me.
Yeah, I think it is 3D printed, yeah.
On a carabiner, which is like perfect for adding to your climbing gear, your belt, and like I think that's really fun type of specific fitness tracker. And since it's so specialized, like you can really get out. Like maybe a Garmin or somebody would make a device like this eventually, but because the use case is pretty specialized, it's something that at first you probably have to make yourself. So really nice.
And there's there's an Instructables page on it. So if you want to build one yourself, you can go to the blog. There's a link to the Instructables post, and it has all the full directions on there on how to build your own.
Very nice, and I hope very useful to you. Let us know how it works out for
Rock
you.
climbing's fun. I've been wanting to get into that.
I saw some folks. I was in Joshua Tree National Park over the holidays, and I saw lots of people rock climbing, and I was like, yeah, that's a thing.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm a little scared of heights, so maybe just at a gym I would do it, not like in real life.
There were people like who are clipped into stuff, so like it's pretty safe. So if you fall, you only fall like to your last pin or something.
Right.
But we're also seeing some free climbers who are walking around with like a crash mat on their back, and like it's like, okay, if you fall, make sure you fall in this very specific place. Oh god. I don't know. It's not for me.
Scary.
I'm not.
It's a little scary.
Yeah. But anyway, cool project.
Yeah, very cool.
The intersection of like everybody's personal interests and electronics. Like,
it's awesome. Really cool.
And electronics. This is Instagram user Mrs. Nye Grande tagged me on Instagram to show me her first wearables project, and she made the sparkle skirt from our tutorial using
it's really pretty.
The Flora accelerometer, and some sewable NeoPixel LEDs. And we're not playing the audio on the video, but it's like, I did it!
Yeah,
so
it looks great. Congratulations.
Yeah, nice work. We love to see your first projects and your advanced projects. We love to see all of your projects.
All of them.
Thanks for sharing that.
This is so cute.
Yeah, another sharing. This is a bracelet that the forum user Dan Weir made this and posted up on the forums to show us this bracelet he made for his daughter. It uses a trinket and a NeoPixel jewel, and in a 3D printed case, and then on like a stretchy wrist sleeve.
Cute.
I don't know, but that looks like one happy little girl.
She looks so happy. That's like the coolest little bracelet.
I love to see like dads making electronics with their daughters, because not only does it show their daughters like, oh, I can learn engineering and I can use electronics for what I'm interested in, no matter what it is. Including like, every girl has a princess phase, whatever. But also then it makes them think like their dad is a magician, right? And like that's really good for. I feel like. Electronics is a really good way for dads to bond with their daughters.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Also cooking. I used to bond with my dad over
also,
cooking
it makes the dads look like the coolest dads.
For sure, yeah. And
like your kids in class, and they're like, your dad's the coolest dad.
Yeah,
you win.
We see the NeoPixel tiara. It has that. It was an unexpected result. I didn't really expect so many dads to make the tiara with their daughters. But
it makes so much sense though.
Daddy, I want to be a digital princess. I'm like, hey, sure, that's awesome. So thanks for sharing that. We love it when you post your projects up on the forums.
Yes.
Pictures of your happy kids, optional. Speaking of gauntlets, and turning lemons into lemonade, Dr. Lucy Rogers made this, broke her wrist, and added some Christmas lights to it.
Hey,
so
why not?
It's using the Cheer Lights project, which if you haven't heard of it, it's been around for several years now. It's like an open source code library, code configuration set of internet connected situations that you can build a circuit, load the Cheer Lights code, and then your lights will be controlled by Cheer Lights commands on Twitter. Yeah. So anybody can send a Cheer Lights command and control like everybody's lights that have this code, and it's big over the holidays. That's why it's called Cheer Lights. And so Dr. Lucy put these.
It's like in a Christmas tree formation.
She used the wire to make the Christmas tree shape, and then the Flora and the NeoPixel.
And it's already a green cast, so
it's perfect. It uses the Flora Bluefruit module, and then connecting to the Adafruit Bluefruit LE Connect app, and
forget holiday sweaters, right? You can do a holiday cast. Right. That's like no one else has that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm big into I've had lots of like knee work done, and I last time I had a big knee immobilizer, I decked it out with EL wire all over, so it was like Tron, so I could walk and like. I would be making like robot sound. So I'm big into putting electronics on your
on everything.
On everything, like your weird medical healing devices. It really it makes the time go.
Yeah, no, totally. I love it. Very cool.
Work.
Oh, this one is from this was from Paris Fashion Week, and it was Chanel did these light up shoes. They had like an aviation themed runway. So I think the shoes are supposed to be like the lights on like the runway when your airplane's pulling in, sort of mimicking that. But yeah, high fashion LED shoes.
Nice to see that going on.
And
okay,
talk about this one.
An upcoming workshop from Bursa Özkan, who's a wearables designer. You might remember this is a picture of her feather dress that we've talked about before that activates the feathers when you're pointing in a certain cardinal direction.
That was such a cool project.
Like subtle, not so, not very flashy. And she is doing a 3-part workshop at Manufacture NY and 3 consecutive Saturdays starting on January 23rd. So if you want to learn about wearables, it's going to be comprehensive, like where you learn about electronics and then you learn about incorporating electronics into garments. So it's going to be a very thoughtful course to bring you through that. You know, Adafruit doesn't do workshops, so I highly endorse this one. I know Bursa personally; she's a really good teacher, and you will learn a lot. She'll go over probably using some Adafruit parts, and should be really awesome. So if you're interested and you're in the New York area, that's a really cool workshop series to check out.
Not a bad way to spend a Saturday.
Certainly not. Certainly how I spend mine. Okay, this we're still catching up from over the holidays.
Yes.
This is a Raspberry Pi and Fade Candy and NeoPixel project that has 800 NeoPixels in it.
Crazy. So cool.
Ricardo Nascimento, friend of Adafruit, sent this in, and it's just like crazy.
It's a lot of NeoPixels.
It's a lot. It supposedly gathers patterns from its environment and then reinterprets them on the garment. It doesn't go into too much detail about how that happens.
Yeah, I mean, you can kind of see like the pattern from the floor, like reflected onto that. It's cool.
But it's a very big technical achievement, and there's a lot of detail about how it was made in the interview piece on the Adafruit blog. So if you're interested, you can go check that out.
Yeah.
I mean, and like I looked, those are sewn with conductive thread, which is like, that's crazy.
That's a lot. Yeah. Very cool.
Big technical challenge. They make it look easy.
Yeah.
Okay. This is from Philip Dupree.
And it was his grad project from Stanford. And he wrote in to tell us about this. It's a wearable vambrance, which I had to look up what a vambrance was, but it's in cosplay, those like wrist cuff things that people wear.
Yeah.
And you can see it in his project. It's a lit up one. And it controls like a kinetic sculpture, which is pretty awesome. And he built it all. The whole sculpture, the vambrance is, I think, 3D printed. It's all very cool.
Really
nice project.
He's using the Adafruit 9DOF sensor, which is an orientation sensor, to control the movement of that ornithopter, which is beautiful. Nice video work, too.
Yeah, it looks really great.
I'd give you an A.
Yeah, I would too, definitely. Okay, and this is an Arduino smartwatch.
Yes, made with an Arduino Gemma and a NeoPixel ring, and it's really nice. It's by I'm Awake on YouTube. I love your punny.
And you can read more about it on the YouTube video page. It has all the details. But
yeah,
great
the
work.
creator is narrating this video, like what it does and all the different functions, and it's got a lot of functionality packed into a very small place.
Actually,
so that's where the challenge comes in these things, right? Making them small and actually useful, rather than having wires sticking out all over the place that get stuck on stuff. So, really nice job.
Nice work. Okay, and so since we are starting out 2016, we are doing a whole series of posts, Adafruit's top 10s of 2015. So today the first one went up. It was the top 10 blog posts, and this is like most viewed by you guys from 2015. And we're gonna do a few more. We have a wearables one that was up today also. We're gonna have a video one, learning guides, a bunch of different ones. So check them out, see what was popular, and maybe if you missed it, you can go back and read some of the older posts that we did.
For sure.
Yeah.
Those are really nice. I like that graphic too.
Bruce did a good job. All right, so this is a preview of this week's project.
Here, this week's project is we're getting started with a project making sound effects shoes. And so the idea is that we want to use the audio effects board and a motion sensor to create like sound effects when you walk. This is really useful for cosplay. If you want to be a giant robot, you want to be a a cowboy. You want to be a monster or a like giant lizard and make like stompy stompy noises. But the problem is that the audio FX board and speaker and battery pack, I think, in my personal opinion, are a little too chunky for just every shoe. And because you want a big battery pack to make the speaker nice and powered and the amplifier for lots of loud sound, we thought it would be cool to separate out the action from the reaction wirelessly using these really simple RF modules. But we had to do a bit of hacking to the remote to get it to be triggered by a different sensor besides just the button. So there's a little video, and then we can talk more about it after that.
Cool. All right, let's watch the video.
Hello and welcome to another installment of Wearable Electronics here at Adafruit. Today I want to talk about super simple wireless control. Usually we use these 315 megahertz transmitters and receivers, and they're really handy. You can transmit a button press up to 25 feet without line of sight. But what if you want something else besides a button press? For instance, I would like to make a pair of shoes that transmit the vibration of your foot to another circuit that would make sound or light up. Today I'm going to show you how to hack this guy open, attaching a Trinket microcontroller and writing a simple bit of code and trigger it with a vibration switch or any other switch you want, and then turns that into this button press to trigger this module, which can then activate an audio FX board, NeoPixel LEDs, or anything else you want. It's pretty easy. Let's get started. When you open up the RF remote, you'll find that it's powered by 2 coin cell batteries, so it's basically a 6-volt circuit. I can use that 6 volts to power my Trinket microcontroller, and all I did was probe around the remote with a multimeter to find which contacts were power and ground. The button works by connecting 2 pads with a little piece of metal that collapses when you push on the button. To trigger the button without the little bit of metal, I soldered a bit of wire to each pad and then wired that up to a breadboard where I've got a simple transistor circuit. That acts as a digital switch, so when I set my microcontroller pin high, it allows current to flow between the 2 wires, which bridges the contact similar to the way the piece of metal worked. By itself, the vibration switch is too much noise to trigger the RF module for long enough to activate its receiver. So I'm using a Trinket microcontroller running a very basic sketch that takes the input from the vibration switch, and every time it sees a state change, it's sending a 300 millisecond long high signal to the transistor and the RF module. That way, the receiver gets a very clear signal to turn on no matter what input I'm using, and you at home can easily switch out the vibration sensor for any kind of other trigger you'd like. To develop this project incrementally, I first used an LED instead of the RF transmitter just to eliminate all possible complexity. So when I flick the vibration sensor, the LED turns on. Then it's easy to switch out the LED for another wire that goes to the transistor to trigger the RF module. Next time, I'll solder up these circuits to make them more compact, and I'll put the transmitter on my shoe and wire up the receiver to an audio FX board to make sounds when you stomp or jump around. Subscribe to the Adafruit YouTube channel to catch that and many other Wearable Electronics episodes, and in the meantime, check out the full tutorial for this project on the Adafruit Learning System. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.
Awesome.
Okay, so I hope you guys like that. Part 2 is coming soon where we attach it to the shoe, but there's a tutorial. I was inspired by Phil B's tutorial about triggering the audio FX board with these remotes, which requires an extra logic chip to transfer the naturally high signal to the naturally low signal the audio FX board wants. So if you wanted to sneak peek ahead, you can look at Phil B's tutorial on that, and that'll put you to the place that I will bring the rest of you next week about making that project compact and putting it on your shoe, and then I'll provide some sample audio effects for a couple different things you could do with it. I'm thinking like Mario jump noise.
Oh, cool.
So it's not just for shoes. You could put it on like the end of a magic wand. I had a student last semester at SVA who wanted to do something like this with a magic wand to like turn the light on from across the room. It was for like supposed to be for kids' night light. Like, I'm afraid of the dark, but I can wave my magic wand and turn the light on. And he was using a vibration switch and had trouble hacking this remote. And so I was pretty confident I could do it.
A whip. And
for
make
sure.
The whip sound.
So good. Yeah, that's going on my notebook right here. Whip it good.
Yeah. No, that's like super useful for cosplay stuff.
Yeah. So I hope you guys like that sort of in development kind of video project. And if you if you got inspired by anything in our Wearable Wednesday segment, you can get 10% off your whole order using code WIRELESS.
10% off excluding gift certificates and software. And that expires at 11:59 p.m. tonight. All right, let's talk about the component of the week, or more like components of the week.
There are 6 components of the week. We're going to talk more about these 315 megahertz wireless modules. We've had these in the store for quite a while, and they're really, really, really useful.
Yeah.
So anytime, then they're much less expensive than Bluetooth or Wi-Fi modules for adding very simple, just switching on and off a circuit from up to 25 feet away, and it's not, it's using RF, not IR, so it's you don't have to have line of sight. So you can put them into costumes and activate something else on the other part of your costume or something within the same room as you, and they're low cost, really convenient. We have 3 transmitters, 3 different button configurations, 1, 2, or 4. For your selecting pleasure. And then this is what the receiver module looks like, and we have 3 different types of receiver modules. And so our video that's going to play next to us while we talk over it, it describes the different 3 types. The first one is a momentary type, so that's pretty much what you would expect it to do. You press press the button, the light is on, or the pin is high. It's easy to, here we're showing it with just LEDs, but you can also hook this up to your Arduino microcontroller and have it look for that signal and then activate any other activity.
Anything else?
The second type of receiver is the toggle type, which just means that you press once for on, once for off.
Yep.
So you can have multiple on at once. And then the third type is the latching selector type, and that is a little bit more complicated. It's much easier to show you its behavior than it is to describe it, but I will try both. It selects only one output to be on at once, and when you press another button, it turns the other one off and switches on the output you've selected. So once you turn them on, you can't turn, you're always going to have one of them on, and none of them will be off anymore. So those are the components of the week. Really, really handy. If you're at all curious about simple wireless control, pick up one of each, a receiver and a transmitter, and just play around with them. They're really low cost and
really useful,
super fun. Yeah, and they're not they don't pair with each other, which means that which could be a detracting factor if you're trying to use multiple and have them sync up with each other. However, for what I want to use it for, shoes, I can make 2 of that transmitter circuit, put one on each shoe,
and just have one controller.
One receiver hooked up to the audio effects board. So in that case, it's a boon where I could, know, so if on your costume, if you have some crazy Master Chief costume, you could have one in the trigger of your weapon and one in your shoe and one in your arm or whatever, and they can all communicate back to the same Arduino board powering your lights and your sound effects and all that stuff. So really neat. If you would like to pick up any of those, even though they are very inexpensive, you could still get 10% off.
Yeah, why not?
Code is wireless today.
Cool. All right, let's talk about the tools that we love.
I love tools. Do you love tools?
Yeah, look at this thing.
It's super cool.
This is so cool. Well, it's super fancy.
Super fancy.
Yeah.
This is the super fancy third hand tool from Hobby Creek. I didn't know we had this in the store. I'd seen it on Colin's desk before, but I didn't know that we had it as
I remember
product.
when they put it in on Ask an Engineer. I was watching.
Yeah, sure.
Lamore did a whole thing about it.
Colin has a recent video about hand tools. I'm sure they already played it on Ask an Engineer last week.
Probably.
But it's on our YouTube channel. It's very handy overviews, a bunch of electronics.
Handy.
I'm so punny, I kill myself. I don't even do it on purpose, I swear. And this guy, the standard third hand tool you get has the 2 little alligator clippies and the magnifying glass, and there isn't, I haven't found a very nice quality one of those. They always eventually fall apart, and you have to put your own heat shrink tubing on the clampies to make them not pinch too hard on your wires. So this is the primo edition of helping hands. It's 4 grippers on totally articulated arms. It has a sturdy metal base that stays upright, but you can also drill through it and mount it to your workbench if you want. And the tips come pre-covered with plastic so that they're very gentle, grippy on your components.
There's even a little indent, so you can put little components in there.
So they don't roll away.
Yeah.
So
and it looks like Dr. Octagon.
Hey, bonus. So if you are looking to treat if you say you got an Adafruit gift certificate for Christmas, this is a nice splurgy treat yourself.
Definitely. And you'll use it.
For sure.
Yeah.
And if you've been frustrated by your helping hands in the past, or you're setting up a workbench for a hackerspace, this is going to last a really long time. Makes an excellent gift for any electronics enthusiasts. And
definitely.
I don't have one at my desk yet, but now that I was setting up for the show and I watched Colin's video, and I'm like, I
want one of those.
I gotta get one of those.
I want that.
And you can get 10% off of it with the code WIRELESS, excluding, or anything you order at Adafruit, excluding gift certificates and software.
Awesome. All right, let's get to it with the questions.
Whew, that was a lot to get through.
Yeah.
I was worried we weren't going to make time today, but
we're moving right along here.
We're doing good.
Doing good.
If you have any wearable electronics questions now or later, you can ask them in the chat or in the comments on YouTube, the blog, Google+, Twitter, Facegrams to book, and I will gather them up. And
if it's on the internet, we'll find it. Probably.
It helps if you tag me. Yeah. And then I will put them in my Stecky Burn hat and make you eligible to win the giveaway. So if you asked a question previously, maybe it's in this hat right now. Let's find out.
And we're giving away a Flora today.
Oh, right.
Ooh.
The prize.
Awesome. Okay, so from Sam A, is there any way to make Flora send data to some application through Wi-Fi or Bluetooth?
Gee, Sam, I'm so glad you asked. Yes, there is. You can use the Flora Bluefruit module and connect through your phone or tablet using MQTT to Adafruit.io and put your data up into the cloud, or just get it to your app. Our iOS and Android app called Adafruit Bluefruit LE Connect is open source, so you can grab, if you're an iOS dev or an Android dev, you can grab that code from our GitHub and develop your own mobile app that accepts Bluetooth data. And an example project, if you want to get started, is the data logging hat with Flora BLE. That tutorial's on the Adafruit Learning System. Me and Tony D show you how to hook that up and spit the data through to the cloud. But we don't have a Flora Wi-Fi project per se, but there are our Wi-Fi modules are definitely compatible with Flora, and you can use. And remember that the Flora is very similar to the Leonardo or the Feather, because they both use the 32U4 microcontroller. So any of that code can be, with just a few little pin modifications, be used with Flora. So, I got to get on making a Wi-Fi project for you guys with Flora for sure. But in the meantime, check out this Bluetooth one. And yes, totally possible. Anything you can dream up. Ask me more questions about your ideas, and I'll answer them on the show. Yeah.
All right. Next question is from Delara. Is it possible to join two EL tapes in the same way that two EL wires does?
This is rough. Sorry. Wah, wah. Not really. So EL tape is just long EL panel. First of all, let's get that clear. EL panel is just short and squat, and EL tape is just long and skinny, but it's the same. They're the same as each other, but they're very different from EL wire.
Right.
Instead of having like a core and outer wires sandwiching a phosphor, it's like layers of dielectric material sandwiching a phosphor, and it requires a special like connector tab material. And so the panel and the tape only has that connector tab material at the end. So if you cut tape, you can't solder it back together right there. However, our EL tape comes with connectors at both ends, so you can cut it, plug both ends into your inverter, and have a disjointed...
Like line them up together, or whatever.
Right, and line them up together, correct. And you can cut EL tape and panel into whatever shape you want. And then if you want to create a broken line, you can always use heat shrink tubing or black electrical tape to mask out the shape.
That would be the easiest way, I think.
Yeah, but if you have further questions about that, you can post up in the forums about what you're specifically trying to do, and me and the dedicated engineers there can help advise you as to like what would be the best strategy for getting the design you want, given the technical limitations of EL panel and tape.
Cool. All right. Last question is from Edward Medina. Is there a way to do this referring to the Android Smart Mirror, on an existing bathroom mirror?
Ooh, that would be cool. The material used for the Android Smart Mirror is a see-through two-way mirror. So it's most bathroom mirrors have are opaque on the back. So if you can scrape off that opaque gray material on the back of your mirror, you might discover that that's also what makes it a mirror. So that could be tricky.
And also, if you have like a cabinet mirror, it wouldn't.
Yeah,
wouldn't be
like
able to
my
do it.
cabinet mirror has a solid piece and then a mirror on each side of it. However, if you want to build your own mirror, your own bathroom mirror, you can get the stuff we used is plastic because it's less expensive, but you can also get a piece of two-way mirror glass.
Yeah.
It just has to be see-through from one side so that the light coming out of the screen can go through the glass, whereas most mirrors just have mirror stuff on one side and it's opaque and it shines through reflects through the glass.
Right.
So if you have a two-sided mirror and you can scrape off the mirroring on one side, that could work, but requires some experimentation and might ruin your mirror. Or, here's my pitch, just take a piece of this mirror plastic or mirror glass and put it on top of your bathroom mirror.
Yeah, with the tablet like in between.
Yeah, and it could be, so maybe then it's like, if it's only over part of your mirror, maybe it's like you have a little elevated section of your mirror, and then maybe that's part of the decor element, I don't know.
Yeah, that could be cool.
Let us know if it works out for you and show us your project.
Definitely.
But yeah, I shopped for this see-through two-way mirror, which is not what standard bathroom mirrors are.
Yeah. Okay, let's give away a flora. Woo!
Jess, will you do the honors? Selecting our winner today.
Okay, let's see here.
Dun, 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 dun.
The winner is Sam A, who had
Oh,
the question
great.
about the Bluetooth Flora. So now you have a Flora to play with.
Nice. Yeah, that's great. Perfect. You can email support@adafruit.com to claim your prize, and we'll get that right out to you. Congratulations.
Yay! And if you didn't win, you can still use the code WIRELESS to get 10% off your order, excluding gift certificates and software, and that expires at 11:59 p.m. tonight.
Nice. Okay, guys, that was our first show of 2016.
Oh yeah! Happy
haven't-
2016.
Happy New Year. If you can't get enough, you should sign up for our Adafruit Daily newsletters at adafruitdaily.com, where we send you a daily newsletter with a wearables tip. And if you are interested in more than just wearables, we also have, what other
We also
newsletters?
have a biohacking one. We have maker business. We have general electronics tips. We have wearables. And then starting tomorrow, we are going to have a 3D printing one as well.
So you can sign up for that now.
You
and
can
you'll
sign up for
start-
it now, and it'll start going out tomorrow.
Nice. Great. Cool. And remember, we won't spam you or anything. We won't use your email's not even associated with your store account. Totally separate. Unsubscribe anytime. All that good stuff.
Yep. And make sure to tune in tonight at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time for Show and Tell, where you can show off your projects and tell us about them. And you can sign up by commenting on the Google Plus page. And we'll add you to the circle, and you'll be automatically added every week once you sign up.
It's a super fun party.
Yeah. And then Ask an Engineer is going to be on right after that at 8 p.m. Lamore is there. She's going to go over new products, talk about open source hardware, all sorts of fun stuff, and as well as answer your electronics questions. And then tomorrow,
3D Thursday.
with Noe and Pedro.
You can join their broadcast show where they talk about CAD tips, answer your questions, share like what's coming up on their plate for future projects, all kinds of fun stuff. And then they also debut a 3D printing project. So
Yeah.
very exciting on 3D Thursday, and also the blog. Lots of 3D printing on the blog.
Yep. All right. Well, thanks for a great show, Becky. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for joining.
Yeah.
Hey guys, do you know who's going to be on the show next week?
Special guest.
Leslie's coming to visit.
Yay!
So, is Leslie in the chat today? I didn't remember.
Yeah,
seeing
she's there. I see her.
Leslie's going to come visit from Philly and host the show. Thanks, Jess, for hosting. It's Lady Power
Yeah,
all
definitely.
month long until
Oh, nice.
Colin hosts the last show in January, but it's Lady Power until then. So make sure to join us next week. If you're, you should subscribe to the Adafruit YouTube channel if you're not, so you can catch the announcement about upcoming
Definitely.
broadcasts and also new videos when they come out. And we will see you next week.
Bye.